Hello and welcome to today's live stream event. We are helping you to learn how to complete your healing journey and rewrite the wound code. So, if we are meeting for the first time, my name is Becca Armstrong. I am a psychotherapist, a business transformation and life coach. I've been working with clients for over 26 years in all different regions of the globe, actually, in over 193 countries. I'm trained to work with people as young as 2 years old, all the way up to 800, if you can find somebody that age. So it's a pleasure to welcome you here today and to be of service to you. We go through life, and life can hurt. We can become wounded. But I want to share this with you. You are designed not only to heal, but to be healed. As a psychotherapist, there is something that I discovered that was a bit surprising. In working with clients, I discovered that what causes a perpetual healing journey is not the wound, and it does not require a lifetime to heal. You are designed to get injured and heal immediately. And what we actually consider healed and the healing process is not about repairing, stitching together old parts of the self. Really, in the space in which you become wounded, you develop new self. And I'm going to talk more about that in a moment. So, healing is an expansion of who you are. It might be mentally, emotionally, energetically, physically, in all regards, but it's an expansion of who you are into a greater version of yourself. And healing is designed to complete. So if we have a healing journey that's going on and we continue to move along in that journey, then there's something that we need to do. We need to, and most people say, well, I just need to fix this, and I need to change this, and I need to improve this, and I need to make this, that. No, I want you to consider right now, what if you're not broken? What if there is nothing within you to fix? What if your journey is not being created by the original wound? What if your journey is being perpetuated and extended unnaturally because you have a self identity that says, this is who I am, I'm wounded, and this is what happens for me. I get wounded, I get hurt. I have struggle, I have pain, I have things that I have to fix about me. That doesn't necessarily mean that you actually have things to fix. What it can mean is that you have an identity that is wired to having to fix yourself. Wouldn't it be really nice to be beyond that? Just ask yourself, what would my life look like right here, right now, if I wasn't fixing anything? If I wasn't trying to work on myself? What if I could be an expanded version of me? And rather than fixing, I got to go into discovery mode. What if I get to go into discovery mode and I get to discover my strengths? I get to discover new aspects of me. I get to discover new capacities and qualities and abilities, and I get to expand upon them. What if that is what you get to start doing? And that's how you get to live from a place of curiosity, discovery, celebration, uh, coming to a place of knowing. You see, if I asked you right now to walk across the room, and if you do not have the ability to walk, maybe it would be to wheel across the room, somehow go from one side of the room to the other side of the room. And I said, go ahead and do that. You just do it, right? You'd go from one side of the room to the other side of the room. And you wouldn't prepare. You wouldn't think about it. You wouldn't use positive affirmations, right? I think I can walk across the room. I think I can do it. I believe in myself. I can do this. I've got this. You wouldn't do any of that, right? No, you go from one side of the room to the other side of the room. Now, if I asked you, did you believe you could do that? You might say, well, I didn't even think about it. I just did it. Right. Because you knew you do it. It's not that you can do it. You knew that you do it, right? You walk from one side of the room to the other side of the room, or you move from one side of the room to the other side of the room. You know. that you do this. So you don't have to believe it. See, believing is one level of encoding, but when you know something, it's integrated into who you are. You don't even think about it. You just experience it. So what if right here, right now, you get to start living your life from a place of discovering your strengths, discovering your expansion, discovering your special gifts, being engaging with them, experiencing them, because as we experience something, we develop a belief system. Do you know what a belief system is? Well, if you have a piece of paper, grab it, because a belief system actually is a compilation of several things. First, it is the composite of your thoughts, your emotions, and when you take your thoughts and you take your emotions and you integrate them and you feel them in your body, that's a feeling. So your feeling is the integration of the thought and the emotion. Now you have a feeling. You have perceptions. Do you know you have something called a reticular activating system? And that reticular activating system is a filtration system. I'm simplifying, absolutely. It's a filtration system for your self-identity, the way you identify yourself. Do you notice that? Self-identity. And it is how you identify yourself in relationship to what you're experiencing, internally or externally. So your reticular activating systems takes everything that's going on around you and it filters in everything that is a match or encoded currently in that is harmonious with your current self-identity. And anything that isn't gets filtered out. Now that is really profound, because if you have an identity that is encoded to wounds, trauma, pain, struggle, challenge, then everything that proves that true and is harmonious with that and maintains that and makes that who you are gets filtered in, and everything else gets filtered out. That's why there is the phrase that you may have heard, that trauma predisposes you to more trauma. That is not true once you have healed the traumatic wounds. Okay. So really important that let me finish telling you about your belief system. So perceptions, behaviors, and then the automated perceptions and behaviors that we call habits or patterns, decision-making and choices, the things that you say yes to, the things that you say no to, and the reasoning behind your decisions and your choices. So all of that makes up your belief system, and your belief system is the core of your self-identity. So your self-identity is formulated between the third trimester and about 6 or 7 years old. It's when your subconscious is encoding, building the self. And it happens at the subconscious level through repetition and emotional impact in a theta state. So if you have never heard of a theta state, we used to call them brain waves, but we know that you have a stronger electromagnetic field that comes off of, and waves that are brain waves that come off of your heart. And those are stronger than the ones that come off of your brain here. So your heart is actually your first brain. Information arrives and is interpreted by your heart center first, and then that information is communicated up your primary vagus channel, your vagus nerve, and your brain here in your head serves like a switching station, starting with your limbic system. You might be going, what in the heck is she talking about? Oh my gosh, now she got complicated. So let's just keep this simple. Your reticular activating system, it's filtering in everything that's a match to your current self-identity. And here's what I want you to allow yourself to receive. Really hear this. You're consciously not in charge of what's being encoded into your subconscious and into your self-identity in this early phase of you're not in charge of it. You're not saying, oh, that one's really good. That's a really good thought. Let's put that one in. Oh, that one's not so good. Let's keep that one out. I like all of these feelings, these, no, I like perceiving myself this way. I don't, no, you're not doing any of that. It's repetition and emotional impact. And it's coming from your environment. When you're in your third trimester before you're even born, it's coming from your environment. But this also incorporates your mother's nervous system, her endocrine biochemicals, her hormones, the environment around you. Okay, we process cells. The first organ to develop is our heart. Second organ is actually not our brain, it's our ears. So heart is first, ears are second. So yes, you are receiving and interpreting sound, which is simply a frequency. And the spectrum that frequency is in, our ears are designed to interpret it, just like the device that you are here with me on. So in regards to this, you are your self-identity by the time you're 6 or 7, and then your life runs through it. Now, 95 to 98% of the time during your day, you are automated. Your life is being governed, regulated by your subconscious self-identity. Your subconscious is designed to maintain who you are in this current moment. Now, who you are is who you were encoded to be. It's that 95 to 98% automated self-identity. It is not who you want to be. Who you want to be right now is outside of the self that your subconscious is maintaining. And it's going to do that in an automated fashion. So here's the kicker. People have been taught, you may have been taught, that you need to change what you do. You need to change what you think. You need to change how you feel and the emotions you have. But here's the deal. To do that, you can't do it with behavior change. If you do it with behavior change, which is also, do you know thoughts are behavior, emotions are behavior, we can measure them. We can actually measure them with QEEGs for your thoughts. We can measure your emotions with something called magnoencephalography. Oh, that's a big word, right? Okay, those are the reason why we can measure them physically is because they're physical. They're behaviors. They're frequency behaviors. Your thoughts are electrical and your emotions are magnetic. And then we can see who you are based on the automated behaviors. Consciously, you can say, I prefer XYZ. But your behavior might be, LMN. Okay. So you can say you want different, but what's automated is part of your self-identity. So when you try to shift something by thinking different thoughts and feeling different feelings and having different emotions and engaging different behavior, do you know that you actually have to be consistent with this? Consistent, 100%, 100%, 99.9 won't get you there. It has to be 100% and it has to be consistent over 21 to 27 days. NASA did an experiment with this, and they had people, their astronauts, they had wear glasses that were concave glasses. So what that did is it flipped the world upside down. So as they looked through these glasses, the world looked upside down. They had to wear these glasses 24/7. Now, if the astronauts took them off, whoever was participating in this study, if they took them off, even for this amount of time, then they put them back on. So the world went right side up here, and they put them back on. Guess what? They'd have to start the experiment again. Because when they wore the glasses 24/7, around day 21 to 27, sometime in this window, even though the glasses were still flipping all the images upside down, their brain flipped it back. And so they were seeing everything right side up, even though their glasses were still delivering information upside down from the visual field. But when they took them off for even just a short while, and then they put them back on, they had to start all over again, a whole other day 1 to day 21 or day 27, sometime in that window, they had to do it again. Holy moly. So you have to, for 21 to 27 days, think only the thoughts that you prefer. Think only or feel only the emotions that you prefer. behave and do only the things that you prefer. But here's the deal, life happens. And the moment you have to multitask, you're done. The behavior goes away, pops right back into what's in the self-identity already. You got to start all over again. Now, some of you might go, well, maybe not. I think I could handle it. I think, it's like, okay, remember back when you were learning how to drive or even ride a bike? See, now you can ride a bike and you can look around, you don't have to focus on balancing. You don't have to focus on pedaling. You don't have to focus on things that all the mechanics of every little nuance that's going on. So that's like total consciousness. And remember, you had to ride your bike again and again and again and again until you learned it. Well, your subconscious was encoding through repetition and emotional impact you riding the bike. Just like when you were driving the car and somebody said, hey, can you change the radio station? It's like, oh my gosh, I can't stay in between the lines and adjust the radio because your subconscious didn't have a code for it, didn't have a code at all for it. But as you continue to do it, you built the code. So now you can be driving along, you can be talking to somebody, you can be adjusting the thermostat, the heat or the AC, you can be turning up or down or changing the channel. You can be doing all of those things. Why? Because driving is now part of your self-identity and it's automated. It's automated. Riding a bike, part of your self-identity, it's automated, which means you can do other things while you're doing that. So for 21 to 27 days, with whatever it is that you would like to be living, you have to be consistent if you're going to go along the behavioral path. But some of you may have seen the movie The Matrix. And there was a part in this movie where one of the characters said, I need a program for how to fly a helicopter. I said, hold on. And they uploaded all of the how to fly the helicopter. And just like that, this person could fly the helicopter. Well, what I've discovered in 26 years of being in practice, working with clients as a psychotherapist, as a coach, I discovered methodologies that allow us to hit that record button by putting you into a theta state. Your eyes can actually be open. You do not have to believe this is going to work. And within 30 seconds to minutes, I'm talking I've seen one person take the longest, and the longest was 15 minutes. And that was rare. One person in thousands, 15 minutes. Everybody else was more around the 30-second mark. Okay? And here's the cool thing. You can rewrite, rewire, and reprogram the wounded identity to the healed identity. And your journey for healing is done. And your now expansion in thriving has begun. And it gets to get awesome and rock and cool and fulfilling. Because here's the thing. When you get injured, there is an intensity. You have a magnitude of impact, whether it's an impact mentally, emotionally, physically. You've got an impact. That impact is in magnitude, in frequency, it's bigger and stronger than the self that exists there. So if you think about a bone, when you break that bone, it's because something hit that bone, and the force of that strike was bigger than the force of the magnitude of the bone holding, in its structure. So the magnitude was bigger, the amplification was bigger. So here's the thing. So now you have space that was just created by the impact. We call that broken. We call that wound. Well, here's the deal. The moment you get injured, your entire self goes into healing mode. And it's not about a journey. It's about healed. And what it does is it takes your subconscious, governs the higher intelligence of you that has the blueprint for healed and expanded already there. The moment you have the impact, that blueprint is activated. And your subconscious and this higher level intelligence, and you say higher level intelligence, it's like, okay, who was organizing you from the first cell division? A higher intelligence. It may have looked like chaos, but it was order, and you were being built, you were being created. And that was not something anybody was thinking about. Your mom wasn't sitting there going, okay, now divide those cells, divide those cells, divide those cells, divide those cells. Okay. No, she wasn't doing that. Right? She was taking a nap, getting work done, building cribs, these kinds of things. So there is a higher intelligence, and your subconscious works with this higher intelligence the moment you get injured to be healed. And I will tell you a story in a moment with my oldest daughter that will surprise you. And I learned a lot when it happened. So I'll talk about that in a moment. So your subconscious and your higher intelligence takes the magnitude of the impact that caused the wound, the injury, the traumatic wound, and it matches it and then elevates it. So it takes that energy, that level of magnitude, and that is the coded system for building the new bone. See, when you say, well, you can't break your bone in the same place twice unless you've got, something else going on. Well, the reason being is because the new bone is stronger than the bone that was previously there. Because your subconscious and your higher intelligence measured that magnitude instantly, matched, and then elevated it. And it used that elevated magnitude and amplitude as the energy building the new self. Because it's new bone, which means it's new self. Well, this isn't relegated only to your physical. This is actually what happens mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically, because it's all energy. Everything is energy. And then you have your bone healed, and you don't go, oh gosh, I'm going to be on a healing journey for a long time. I mean, I had a friend in trigger warning, and she was hit by a car growing up, and she was in a coma. They didn't know that she was going to live. She had to, I don't even know how many surgeries she had. She had to rebuild everything on one side of her body. And today you'd look at her and you would have no idea that anything happened. So did it take a while for all of it to complete? Yes and no, because she was healed, and she had to have lots of surgeries, and then her body healed it, and then surgery, body healed it. So her healed was always completing. Now you'd look at her, you'd have no idea she had any injury whatsoever. She had to learn how to blink, how to move her body, how to swallow, how to talk, everything. So I share this with you because she's totally healed today. And even if you have to go through years of surgeries and healed is the outcome of all of those surgeries, you're still healed. But we have been taught something different mentally, emotionally, and we keep working on ourselves because we have the activated self-identity that says, I'm wounded. Well, if you're wounded, you can't be healed. So that's the first phase. We've got to create your new self-identity. You've got to create it. Now, I did create a program. It's called Beyond Therapy, Healed, Transformed, and Thriving. Okay. And this program does what therapy doesn't do. And it is actually the reason why I retired from therapy, because people kept trying to be in healing mode, and we helped them be healed. And I said, you know what? I got to get this out there. I got to make this available to people so they can complete their healing journey, be healed. They can transform limiting equations, limiting aspects of their self-identity that are blocking them right now, that are not authentic to them, and they can amplify and thrive. So if you're interested in learning more about that, the link is in my bio. It's called Beyond Therapy, and it is magnificent. It is effective. It is the soup to nuts, get it done. And oh my goodness, it's going to save you tens of thousands of dollars in a healing journey. You can go on vacation. You can buy a new car. You can do cool things in your life that you have desired, and you can make them your reality. And I'd rather you spend your money on those things because you're healed, transformed, thrive, and you don't have to be perfect. This isn't about perfection. This is about authenticity. This is about you remembering your wholeness, remembering your value, remembering your worth, remembering you are enough and you don't need to work on yourself. You can expand yourself through desire and passion rather than pain and suffering. Okay? So here's the thing. Your body goes into healing mode, your mind, all of the aspects of yourself, they all function, they're all designed the same way. And then you have new self. New self is amplified. It's got a higher energy, a higher magnitude than what you were before. And now what is available to you is what is on that level. Now that's really powerful. It's really cool because you actually now can conduct more energy, which means you can conduct more of life without any more effort. No more effort than what you got going on right now. And you can experience more fulfillment, more energy, more reward, more prosperity, well-being, wealth, all the cool stuff. And it's part of who you are. Now you might say, well, why didn't we do that? Well, because you've got the self-identity that's conditioned. You're told you got to go to therapy forever and be on a healing journey. Now, here's something I will say. I am trained in EMDR, level 1, level 2, most advanced traumas. Now, I refer to other therapists who are also EMDR advanced trained because if you have trauma, it is such an amazing gift of a tool and methodology for healing trauma. But once you're healed or you've completed EMDR, oftentimes people just don't feel healed. And they feel like, I got to fix myself. I got to figure out how to feel worthy. I need to figure out how to find my value, my purpose, know that I'm good enough. I need to like myself, love myself. I need to feel safe in the world. It's a big deal right now. A lot of people are hearing about you need to regulate your nervous system. Your nervous system is not likely dysregulated. It's likely in the looping self-identity that says, I get wounded. So your nervous system's trying to find what's going to wound you. So it's in fight or flight. It's in your sympathetic nervous system activation. It's fight or flight because you have this identity that's governing it, saying, I get wounded. Bad things happen to me. I get hurt. This is who I am. This is what happens to me. So it's trying to find it. And so it can address it. And it doesn't realize that it doesn't actually exist anymore, but it does in the self-identity. So when you rewrite and rewire that, and the tools that I love are the tools I discovered and developed working with clients because you can do it in seconds to minutes, and then it's done. Now, your nervous system is no longer scanning for the threat, scanning for what's going to wound and hurt you, because guess what? Your new self-identity says, hey, I'm healed. Yeah, I was hurt, but I healed it. That hurt is done. The cause of that is done. There is no suffering. I am okay now. And I get to live safely, comfortably. I am safe right now. It says, I'm safe. That wound, that trauma, that hurt, that event, that's done. It's not happening right now. It's done. And I'm safe. I'm powerful. I'm valuable. I'm worthy. I am enough. I am capable. I accept myself. I approve of myself. I appreciate myself. I'm grateful. This is not ego. This is not ego. This is authenticity. This is your nature. You know, it is your nature to be healed. It is not your nature to continue healing. So let me share with you an experience that I had with my older daughter. My youngest and my oldest, they're 5 years apart. So my oldest was about 5. My youngest was just born, probably, I want to say it was 3 or 4 weeks. So she was an infant. And I was getting back in shape, So my daughters, I had one in the jogging stroller, the other one was on her bike, and we went out for a run. And we're out for this run. I'm on the sidewalk. She's next to the sidewalk on a dirt path. It was a beautiful, beautiful blue sky, early spring day. And actually, no, it was a little bit, but it was a cool day. So we were moving in to well, we were in summer, but it was a cool day. So it was blue skies. The weather had passed. We were out having a blast, and we were about a mile away from our house, and we were going to run out 2 miles. So out 2 miles, back 2 miles. So we had another mile to go. And my daughter comes to get up on the sidewalk, and she clips her tire and drills her knee right into the sidewalk. And I know because I had the vantage point to see it all crystal clear. I watched her drill her knee. She, of course, was crying, rolled over, and she ended up being really fine. That's why I'm sharing this with you, because I want you to know how cool you are, because this is not unique to her. But I did see what you're capable of, and you are capable of what will seem like magic to you. And I am not giving you a pep talk. I'm not being positive here. I'm telling you what I have seen in working with over 10,000 people globally. So here's the deal. I thought she broke her kneecap, and her kneecap was swelling immediately. She had her eyes closed and she was really upset. So she hadn't looked at it yet. I'm over there, and it's bleeding. It's not looking good. So, but it's a beautiful sunny day, and she's got her like knee kind of cropped up. And so I reach up and I pretend to grab a ray of sun. I say, I'm grabbing a ray of sun, and I'm pulling it to your knee. And I pulled it to her knee, and I covered her knee so she couldn't see it. And she was 5 years old, so I have little hands, but I could cover her knee at that point. I cover her knee. She's really upset, and I'm just covering it so she doesn't get freaked out. Because I'll tell you, I was freaked out. I'm thinking I have to call 911. I have to get an ambulance here. My husband's working, but he's not too far away, so maybe I can call him and he can drive us to the ER, because we got to go to the ER. She's broken. She's hurt. And I say, now, do you know the moment you get injured, your body knows and immediately heals it? Immediately. The moment the injury happens, body heals it immediately, totally and completely. And she's like, and I said, let's just send love to your knee. Let's let the sun send love to your knee. Do you know why I grabbed the sun? Because of heat. I wanted her to associate heat with the sun, not, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with my body. She had never been injured like this before. And so I said, we're just going to send love, because you have an intelligence. Your body is so intelligent. It knows exactly how to heal itself, and it's doing it right now, completely. She's like, okay. She's like, but it hurts. I said, yeah, because it takes longer for your mind to let go of pain than it does for your body to heal. So just let the pain be whatever it is. And I knew that from my friends who are doctors, who said, yeah, you know why? When you come out of surgery, we immediately, first of all, we give you pain meds by IV, and then we immediately keep up your pain meds, because the moment your mind gets a hold of it, we have to give you more pain meds. If we give them to you before your mind even knows what the heck's going on, we don't have to give you that much. So that's why I said that. And I had seen clients have what you would call instantaneous, miraculous healing immediately. So I knew that this is how it's built. I just hadn't seen it like this ever before. So here's what happens. So she's like, I said, let the mind do whatever. It takes longer for the mind to let go of the pain than it does for your body to heal itself. And it's doing it right now. And it's so brilliant at it. We don't even have to know how it's going to do it. It's just doing it right now. And she said, yeah, but I want to cry. And I said, great, cry. Because do you guys know that when you cry, it's like a shower for your nervous system, and it's rinsing and clearing all of those intense biochemicals that your sympathetic nervous system, your fight, flight, freeze, fawn released, that you actually don't need anymore. So I said, just cry, let it out. It's good. I still had my hand over her knee. And then a few minutes later, this is all in less than 3 minutes, she says, You guys know that that's a parasympathetic breath when you go at the end of crying or at the end of something, or when you sigh, that's your sympathetic or your parasympathetic nervous system activating. We don't turn off our sympathetic nervous system, we activate our parasympathetic, and it converts everything that, your fight, flight, freeze system was pumping through your body in regards to those biochemicals of survival, converts everything over. Okay. So she does this, and I say, all right, how are you? She says, good. Okay, let's go. And I'm like, go where? The ER? I mean, where are we going? She says, well, no, for the rest of the run. Like, you want to go for the rest of the run? She says, yeah. So I take my hand off of her knee, no discoloring, no swelling, and she had a scab. Like it had occurred days earlier, and the scab was getting ready to come off. She didn't have a scab that morning before we went. This is what I saw. She had no conditioning that said, I have to be on a healing journey. This is going to take some time and some surgery. She didn't have any of that. Her identity said, oh, okay, moment I get injured, my body heals. It heals immediately. Pain, my mind will let go of that. It just takes a little bit longer and I'm okay. Boom, that became her reality. That's what I want you to know. And that's why I created Beyond Therapy. Beyond Therapy, heal, transform, thrive. It's the end of the journey, and it is the absolute activation of your thriving self. So if you're interested, again, link is in my bio. Please come join me. We're actually oftentimes doing a flash sale. So when you're seeing this video, check it out, because all that money that you would spend on your healing journey, you get to go on vacation. You get to remodel a room in your house or your house entirely. You get, whatever it is that you want to do, buy a new car, buy a wardrobe, something, go out to a fancy fun dinner or take a cool vacation, whatever it is, you get to do that. That's way more fun and way more fulfilling than keeping working on yourself. You don't need to do that anymore. And you might say, well, Beyond Therapy, heal, isn't that me working on myself? No, that is you rewriting, rewiring your self-identity into your authentic state where you are healed, where you're able to transform those limitations and blocks. And you might say, well, what are limitations and blocks? Well, okay, I want you to write this equation down or just bring it up in your mind. 1 + 3. Okay, 1 + 3 equals 4. There's nothing right about 4. There's nothing wrong about 4. That's the equation or one of them that gets you to 4, right? It's awesome. Now, if you need to get to 4, you need a 4. 1 + 3, that equation, that'll get you there. It's good. What if you need to get to 7? What if you need to get to 7? Well, now you're blocked. Now you're limited. And here's the thing. You can't change 1 + 3 to get to 7. You cannot change it. And people say, I love it. When I do seminars, people go, yes, you can. What are you talking about? Just 3 + 4 = 7. Okay, that's a brand new equation. That's a brand new equation. Did you pull from different numbers you have? Yeah. Yeah, usually the equation for your authentic self-identity is right there. But your reticular activating system's filtering it out. So we got to get you filtering it in. Filtering it in, filtering it in, filtering it in, right? We got to filter it in. So if you need the equation for 4, then you need a brand new equation. And that's what the transform resources and tools in that module do for you. But you don't just have them happen to you. You actually do them, and they're super simple. Like I said, 2-year-olds can do this. So it's simple, it's easy. You're going to laugh and go, oh my gosh, I cannot believe how simple this is. And I cannot believe how wonderfully easy it worked. Okay, so that's the cool thing. And again, we've got the link here for you. So click the link, it's here, and come check it out, because you're going to love it. And you're going to be so in celebration of yourself. You're going to discover how cool you are. How cool you are. So I got to see this when my daughter was 5. And my daughter, she taught her sister. And her sister had serious asthma. She had an infection right when she was born, within days of her birth. And that infection created what you would call asthma, and my youngest healed it fully and completely. So it doesn't mean that life doesn't happen to you, but it doesn't mean it's your fault either. Life happens. And you deserve to be healed. You deserve to absolutely create your freedom, to transform all of those 1 + 3 = 4 into those 3 + 4 = 7, those new equations that actually produce the outcomes that you're ready to live in your life and you are ready to thrive. That's the other thing I discovered. I'm serious. People, it's shocking. People go, okay, well, I'm healed and I've released those limiting equations and those limiting codes. And now I'll just go about basically what I've been going about. They don't know how to amplify. And they think it's going to require that they have to do something. So they have this like definition going on within themselves that says, if I do X, then I get Y. Well, my daughter healed and didn't have to do X to get healed. You don't have to do X to get wealth. Do you know that wealth means well-being in every area of your life? It does. You don't have to do something to get something that you desire unless you activate a definition. And that's what I started seeing people do. They would activate these definitions. I'm like, well, you can manifest like that. What? It doesn't have to come through that definition, doesn't have to come through that system, doesn't have to come through that permission slip. But they had it activated. So I was like, can we just activate your ability to desire, align, and then the how flows to and through you, and then it comes together. I mean, I'm talking about minutes. I did this. I made a decision that I wanted to be of service to people globally. Within a minute, my phone rang, and I was invited to participate in an opportunity that was exactly that. Exactly that. So opportunity, money, relationships, all of those things lined up immediately. And all I had to do was answer the phone after I made that decision from an aligned self-identity that said, yeah, all right, boom, amplification. And then all the ingredients organized and arrived within a minute. Okay. This is not unique to me. This is not unique to the clients that I have worked with because they're just like you. I'm just like you. And I want you to know how cool you are. So click the link, check out Beyond Therapy, heal, transform, thrive. It's time for you to own your worth. It's time for you to own your value, to know it. Remember, like I said, when you walk across the room, you don't pump yourself up and I believe in myself. I believe in myself. No, you know it. So you just do it. You know it. So you be it. And that's the thriving that is authentic to you. So that's what you get to experience. And it would be such a delight to work with you. And the other piece is there are bonuses galore. There's one-on-one coaching in a group environment that's virtual. So you can be anywhere on the planet and you can receive that one-on-one coaching and mentorship whenever you desire and want it. So it is packed full of all of the goodies. And that was my intention. I put it together so that everything was accessible. It was whole and complete. So you can be whole and complete, which has nothing to do with perfection. And you can expand and up level in a way that, oh my goodness, you love and thrive, 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 thrive. So check it out. And if you have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me. I'm happy to answer them because I know how magnificent you are. And it's no good if I know it and you don't know it. So we got to get you there and you're meant to be. So thank you very much for joining me for this particular experience. And I look forward to connecting with you very, very soon and the opportunity to work with you. Take very good care and we'll talk soon.